Hello, Dr. Faraz, how are you?
Very good.
How has your been journey in India?
Amazing. So much better than what I expected.
Okay, what about the seminars that you have been conducted for last 2 3 days?
I think they were amazing. You guys did an amazing job advertising the
Okay,
events, making sure it's well attended, and students were very sharp, ask amazing questions. So thank you so much for everything that you arranged.
okay. How long have you been vegan?
I've been vegan for 11 years.
11 for last 11 years.
Yeah.
So what made you change your path from being a complete vegetarian to vegan?
I wasn't even vegetarian before that. So I was vegetarian for about a year. Before that, I grew up eating meat, cheese, egg, dairy like most people. 11 years ago, about 11, 12 years ago, one of my friends said, "Hey, you can't say you love animals and eat them too."
Okay,
And that's what really clicked for me. And then after that, I became vegetarian just because I didn't even know about the cruelty behind dairy and egg industries.
okay,
So at that time, when I looked into it, when I saw what happens to chickens in egg industry, when I saw behind the scenes of dairy industries, there was no way that I could justify it. And for me, all of them became a part of the same system. So dairy is not something separate from beef. They actually support beef industry, right? So it's a broken cycle. It's a violent cycle, and the only way that it stops is when people, individuals, go vegan and then speak up.
okay. One more thing that all over the world, approximately 85% of the people are non-vegetarian. What do you think that will it be feasible? Will it be possible for us to change those non-vegetarian to vegetarian?
So that's a good question, but that's not how I look at the problem. There were a lot of other world problems that we changed or we solved, but the entire world population wasn't on board. An example of that is slavery in the US, for instance. It wasn't like that the entire US population was against slavery. There is generally a minority that is more aware. Then they start speaking up, they start protesting, they start having, bringing in lawyers, politicians, activists from the street side, from the system side, and they don't shut up. They just push, 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 push until, like, if you look at slavery in the US, we literally went to war, right? So between South and North. That's how resistant the other side was. So every time a society or the world morally advances, there's going to be resistance. But we don't need to convince the entire world. We need a minority who is active and outspoken and is motivated to change the rules.
One more thing that in America, if we talk about America, that even there also most of the people are non-vegetarian. So don't you think that it will be a difficult task for you to convert those non-vegetarian to vegetarian in Australia, that America itself?
I never said it's easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. It's a war, and you have to fight. Um, like any other form of injustice, none of that was um, successful easily, right? People died, people had to go to prison. But the thing is, when the cause is right, when you are fighting injustice, no evil lasts forever. When you look at what happens, what we do to animals is as evil as it gets. So it has to stop.
One more thing is there, like in India, if we talk about in India, that we the people, we Hindus specifically, we believe in mother cow. Mother cow, I mean to say, like here we feel gratitude. Okay, in gratitude we are taking milk over here of cow, and we obviously worship over here. Okay, so on the other hand, we feel that that beef is being exported a lot. So what kind of thing that that comes to the people mind that beef is that much important, that is obviously exported from India and from other countries even?
So what's the question again?
The question is, here in India, we people take milk of cow because we feel gratitude. Okay, but on the other hand, the people they say that why specifically cow? Why not other animals? So that is the question.
So first of all, I want to say that uh, there's nothing about there's nothing merciful and about gratitude when we take away a mother's milk. They don't give us milk, we take it away. The milk is not ours, it's their babies, right? So I understand when you look at like thousands of years ago, it used to be a very different world. People relied on animal products to survive. They treated those cows very nicely, just like a family member. When the mother was dry, they wouldn't sell them for beef, right? So that was a different world. In today's world, that's not a necessity. It's actually a food that harms us. It has saturated fat, it has cholesterol, it has growth factors that we do not need. So in a way, promoting dairy is promoting something that is bad for animals and bad for people. And we don't want that, right? We want a more peaceful world where both human and non-human animals are happier.
And all over the world, we talk about each and every country knows that this emission of CH4, that is methane, that comes from slaughtering of animals. But the countries are not doing that much that they should do be. I mean, they should do. They are not. I mean, what we are expecting from them, they are not doing up to that mark. It's like all the countries when it comes to all the countries. So global warming, climate change, obviously it is directly interlinked with the slaughtering of animals. But even then, the countries are not coming forward and you can say raising their voice to stop it.
The problem there is because if your leaders in power don't are not vegan, they're still a part of problem. They're not going to be advocating for something that is fundamental to the problem, right? So there are studies that show if the doctors are smoking, they're much less likely to tell their patients don't smoke. Same thing here. If our politicians, if our lawmakers are the part of a problem, they would not want to change, and they're not going to be talking about it. Same thing you have in medical school. Doctors who eat meat, they're not going to tell their patients not to eat meat. So, and then the other part of it is that we really like to point out fingers at each other and say, oh, that country has to do something. We as a country have to do something. No one really wants to take personal responsibility, which is something that really frustrates me, because if you really want to change the world, you have to start from yourself. So for countries, it's a matter of politics. They just say words. No one really wants to start from themselves. But if we did, if you actually care about the environment, if you actually care about global warming or anything else, you start from yourself. The best things that people can do is, one, not to have children, and the second is to be vegan. These are the best things that mathematically you can do for the environment.
Okay. Last thing that I would like to ask, what were the challenges that you faced while, you can say, converting from a non-vegetarian to vegetarian, then into vegan?
I think the biggest challenge for me was lack of knowledge. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have a single friend who tell me that it's so easy to be vegan. I didn't have a friend who could hold me accountable. That's why, unfortunately, I wasted a year in vegetarianism instead of going directly to veganism, because I just didn't know. Which is why it's so important for all of us in this room to be speaking up to our friends, to our family, so we make them aware of not just meat, but also dairy and egg. So one of the big challenges for me was I didn't have that friend. And the second thing was the misunderstanding that if I go vegan, then where should I get my protein? Where should I get tasty food? I honestly thought if I go vegan, I should eat lettuce and tomatoes for the rest of my life. It never occurred to me that a lot of dishes that we already have in India, in Iran, even in the West, you can easily make them plant-based. And so you don't miss anything. All you are going to miss on is the animal cruelty side. So being vegan, in a very simple word, is just saying no to animal cruelty. We all say that we love animals, right? We all say we are against animal cruelty, we are against animal exploitation, except that very few of us put that in action. Being vegan is just aligning our actions with our values. That's all.
Okay, the last question I would like to end. I would like to take a comment on the statement of Leo Tolstoy. The statement is, as long as there are slaughterhouses, there will always be battlefields. What is your comment on it?
Absolutely. I don't say that if the world is vegan, we're not going to have people doing wrong things. But I would say that the other way is absolutely true. For as long as people are treating other animals the way we do, we are not going to have peace and justice on this earth. Because as long as we are looking at other species and say we are better, we are superior, so we get to enslave you, we get to rape you, we get to slaughter you, and take everything that you have. As long as we are looking down upon species who are weaker than us like that, we're going to be doing the same thing with other people who might be weaker than us. So that mentality is going to be very bad for the way that humans treat each other. So I don't think in a vegan world you're going to have no wars. Hopefully we get there. But I know that the other way never works. You cannot have people who are not vegan who are fighting for peace and justice. It doesn't work that way. It starts from us. If you're eating meat, egg, dairy, you cannot speak about injustice. You cannot ask for peace. It starts from us.
Okay. Dr. Faraz, I would like to thanks a lot that you have been here for last four or 5 days, and you have done a tremendous job here in India. You have been conducted seminars for last 2-3 days, and it was really, really big achievement for us. Thanks once again.
Thank you for having me. We reach out to thousands of students, hundreds of teachers today, and there is nothing that gives me more honor than that, because the way I look at everyone in this room is that you guys are going to be the future of this world. You are going to be, I said that in every lecture I gave, that I believe someone like Mahatma Gandhi is in this room, is in this lecture, and that's true, because we all have that capacity to be the future leaders. And that's why it's so important for me. Being vegan is the bare minimum we can do. It's not enough. We need the future people to be activists and for to speak up. So thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Faraz.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.